Welcome to this week's Walk and Talk. We're at Walmart. We're at a new Walmart, and guess what, guys? We found more risers at Walmart for $59. There's two here. Now, I've never been to this Walmart before, and I made a special trip this morning early to check these out, and they've been showing up online, and we did pick one of these up for a giveaway for Arcades Anonymous. Other than that store, this is the only other Walmart that I've seen any Arcade1up risers. All the times we've walked past risers in a store at Walmart, now we're making special trips to find these. Coming harder and harder to find, and other than this is the only store that's showing up risers for the state of Wisconsin. You're gonna see NFL Blitz, you're gonna see Ms. Pac-Man, Pac-Man Yoga Flame, MK30th, but at $2.99 it's still kind of a little steep, especially with those classic versions coming out. So just sit back, wait for the right time to buy. These should technically drop down to $1.99 or less. The $3.99, maybe we see a $2.99 closer to, you know, the holidays. If it's still a little steep for you, just hold tight, sit back. You know all these things are going to drop. But those risers, guys, it's always cool to see them. Retro vibes only at Walmart. Rambo, Lost Boys, just classic movies here. Ghostbusters, that old logo. Just love that. Remember that Ghostbusters cereal? Back to the Future, one of the best movies ever. Popeye, and who could forget Beethoven? Talking retro vibes. Look at Stallone's back muscles. Arcade1up's retro vibes. They're 80s cabinets. I think I've narrowed it down. I have 5 cabinets, and I'm convinced one of them will be that 80s release. We're going to talk about it this week's episode, along with the more cabinets we see in store cabinets, online. We'll drop even more. Classic Coke machine. Makes me think of that new wave. Saw B from Cons R Us do an unboxing review. It'd be really cool to have that old Coca-Cola. I mean, it's 75 cents. How cool would that be to have on your shelf? Love that logo. I found a perfect place to go over these 5 possible 80s cabs from Arcade1up. Not GameStop, but just want to acknowledge there's a GameStop right across from Walmart. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. At the Garcade. Dare I say, this is the best arcade in the state of Wisconsin. Right outside of the Milwaukee area, the greater Milwaukee area. The only arcade better, closest to this vicinity, is Galloping Ghost, right outside of Chicago. Might be Brookfield, Illinois. This is the best. Over 200 arcade machines in here. We're gonna come in here and check out the 5 possible scenarios that Arcade1up's gonna give us on that 80s cabinet. Arcade1up has given us a lot of 80s titles. We have Tron. Tron is still available. Like, you can find Tron at just about any retailer. I mean, it's not on a clearance sale price right now. They're holding on to it. I mean, it's a special cabinet. Yes, it's gonna come with that riser, but Arcade1up has given us plenty of 80s titles. Arcade1up did say that we will get an unreleased 80s title. So when they announced Atari 50, I go, okay, oh, there's our 80s title. They came with their promise. They said we will get one XL, Pac-Man, Costco special, and we'll get one 80s title, Atari 50. But then they came back and said that wasn't the 80s cabinet we're talking about, but we ran into something and there's a delay on that cabinet. So we've seen Sinistar. You know, I don't think it's going to be either one of these Zaxxon or Sinistar. I wish it'd be Road Blasters. This is, I don't know. I mean, might be my favorite 80s arcade. I love Road Blasters. This is such a great game. I always come up to this every time they have that sit down too. Kind of like the stand-ups, because I'm just used to the stand-up arcades. That's all I have at home. I don't have any sit-downs, and if I did have a sit-down, I would need something to go up against my back, because just the way Arcade1up made those sit-downs, like, you know, it's like sit on a bleachers, like my back's gonna go numb. I gotta have some kind of support. That's why I prefer the stand-up. I love Road Blasters. Such memories. I love this game. You see like that futuristic city back there. It's one of the best. And then as you go, you get better. You get the rocket launcher on top. You know, the plane comes down. Really cool game. You know, Paperboy would be on a lot of people's list. Having a Paperboy cabinet, but we've seen Paperboy. It's on any Midway Legacy they make. The only downside is you're playing with joysticks. You know, playing Paperboy with like this instead of the handlebars. I mean, it's not really appealing to a lot of people. That's why, you know, doing a mod, like buy stuff, playing it on something else other than the joysticks buttons. You know, maybe in the future, seeing something like this from Arcade1up, but it's not gonna, you know, Paperboy's not gonna be an option because it's released. It's an unreleased title. Crystal Castles has been released. What I love about this arcade is they've got so many different arcades here. I mean, we have so many different, we could check out Time Pilots on Frogger. You know, we've seen Space Invaders from not just Arcade1up. I'm pretty sure you can get on At Games. iArcade had it. I mean, I have a Space Invaders gold cabinet. You know, just for visuals, coming to this Garcade, unlimited play, free play, and checking out these. It's awesome because we can just imagine breaking down what 80's title, what 80's arcade Arcade1up's going to give us. Joust is another one. We even have a Joust skinned Legacy cabinet. I said this a couple of weeks ago that, you know, you can start your 80's Centipede, another one. You can start your 80's arcade like collection right now. Like, you don't have to wait for Arcade1up's newest release. They're gonna have risers, but you know what? I mean, how often are you staring at the risers? The artwork alone, I think they really nailed Joust. We've seen a couple different Centipede cabinets. You know, if that's what you're looking for, if that's your style, there's plenty of 80's titles to choose from right now. And since we're nowhere near seeing Donkey Kong for Nintendo, just not yet, you know, I'm not gonna throw in like, well, you know what? It could be Donkey Kong, it could be Mr. Do. Frogger's available. Another, you know, like it or not, it's an 80's release, it's an 80's title. You can get it. You can still get it. Ashley Furniture has it. I mean, I'm sure there's some other retailers that have it, but Frogger is available. I do like that tire mark right next to Defender, which is probably the best partycade ever, and I wish they would just bring that back. There are rumblings that they're going to give us a 3/4 scale Defender that actually has the correct control lineup. Now, I want to throw in Spy Hunter, and a lot of us are going to agree that Spy Hunter is a long shot. But out of every one of us, out of any driving cabinet, I think you could throw pole position in there. I think more people would want Spy Hunter. There's such the unique steering wheel here with the trigger, the button on both sides, the trigger, the button, the gear shifter. Spy Hunter would be awesome to have. You can see the gas pedal on the bottom. If Arcade1up could come close and give us Spy Hunter, and Joe Sabos could come with the marquee that would say Bally Midway on here. Could you imagine having this at home? They would have to do this right. They did the Star Wars flight yoke right. It doesn't have to be metal. I mean, this is solid right now. Like, it is solid metal. They could come close. Could you imagine having Spy Hunter at home? It's a long shot. We all agree it's a long shot, but I wanted to throw it in the top 5 unreleased 80's titles we could see either the end of 23 or early 24. I didn't put Moon Patrol on the thumbnail. It wasn't part of the top 5, but I just want to go up to it for a second. Williams. It's a great game. I do have this for the iArcade, and I think because of that reason, I don't think Arcade1up would say, okay, you know what, we're gonna rush in, we're gonna make a Moon Patrol cabinet. But I just want to acknowledge that Moon Patrol, it's an iconic look, it's an iconic game, and to have this, it'd be cool. And I bought this on sale, and Now, it was a fun game, and I regret not getting it right away because having that versatility, having different games, and just my favorite are beat 'em ups. You know, you have your racers, your shooters. To have a game like this, just to sit back, you know, you're just jumping. You're dodging, you're shooting, you're jumping over. It's a great game. I don't think it's likely, not this year, next year, but it would be cool to see a Moon Patrol cabinet. I originally said that Double Dragon would be our 80s cabinet, and that's because going back to those renders in the Miami location where we saw Double Dragon skinned on what looked like a Killer Instinct cab. Now, it did have a Final Fight bezel, but Double Dragon, I want to say, is 87, Double Dragon 2 is 88, so, you know, it's believable that they could, this looks like it's all black on the side, that they could do a Double Dragon cab, but when they came and said there's a delay, that's why I threw in Spy Hunter. You know, with unique controls like that, there's no way it would be Double Dragon. I know a lot of us want Double Dragon. And to be honest with you, I regret not purchasing Double Dragon 2 or even Double Dragon 3, as bad as it is, on the Arcade before their servers shut down. They didn't play online, only Double Dragon 1 did, and that's why I didn't purchase the other two, but now I regret it because it's like you can't purchase them. We can mod it and do our own thing, but as cool as it would be to have Double Dragon, I don't think this is going to be the cab this time around. Just going up to Killer Instinct for a second. That was the cab in Miami. It's when they showed the Pro Killer Instinct cab. They had the 3/4 scale, and on the 3/4 scale, the control panel it comes out, it's very comfortable. It's high, but it doesn't have that angle on there, and that's what Double Dragon, which is just down the aisle over here. And it was Double Dragon 2, I believe. It was the Double Dragon, so that was the interesting thing, it was the Double Dragon 2 artwork. iArcade had the Double Dragon 1, and I thought that the deal was, okay, now that they lost their license, Arcade1up is going to come out with their Double Dragon, but it's going to be the Double Dragon 2 cabinet. They used the Killer Instinct, and just looking at Killer Instinct for a second, as a recording of this video, if you're watching this before August 16th, 2023, we do have a giveaway where To Die For, Bobby Boo, is giving away a brand new Killer Instinct Arcade1up cabinet on Arcades Anonymous, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Pacific. Tune into Arcades Anonymous August 16th for a huge giveaway. There's so many great prizes, but the grand prize at the end will be Killer Instinct. I don't want to take anything away from anything else. Huge giveaway. I've never been a part of a giveaway this big in my life. Stop by and check it out. Enter to win. Who would want to win a KI cabinet? Contra, on the other hand, Hubert, we're going to get to it, and the funny thing is they're right next to each other. Contra, Konami. Arcade1up's relationship with Konami. You can see Turtles over here, Simpsons right off to the side. They've done Konami games. I wouldn't necessarily say that the controls are unique. Like, you know, they're pretty basic with Contra. But when they said there was a delay, that's the first thing I thought of. But it is possible that we could see, I mean, I think it's more possible you see a Contra versus Spy Hunter. But when you say delay, think about the controller for Hubert. It's a 4-way controller, right? What else does it have? A knock or so. Could it be Hubert? Is that the 80s title? Is it Contra? I think everyone would want Hubert. I mean, this would be their top out of any 80s cab. Robotron another, which, believe it or not, there's a Robotron here. But Hubert? Could it be Hubert? Is this the 80s cab? Track and field. Out of all the 80s possible cabinets, I think track and field is the most likely we're gonna see. I mean, how do you feel about that? How excited are you that there's a great chance it could be track and field? Take this in for a second. I'm kind of leaning that it's track and field. I know console fanboy is convinced. You go through the original scenarios here that, according to Travis MCP, it's between 1980 and 85, and all the titles that we're going over here are in that range. You know, they could have ran into an issue with that. It could have just been, you know, where were they at with the monitors? What kind of marquee were they using? I mean, a delay could mean anything. Were they going to have light up coin doors? But I think it's very possible, not just because we saw that stool from our, you know, was that a Walmart, an Arcade1up track and field stool? Because they've been talking about track and field for a long time. I think it's really likely that we could see this. This is going to be the 80s cab. Besides Qbert, it's Robotron 2084. Those are your two most demanded 80s titles cabinets, and I'm not going to disagree with that. The unique controls, could they have ran into an issue with those sticks? Or again, production, I mean, just look at track and fields right here. Could be anything when they say delay. I think everyone would lose their minds. I'd lose my mind for Smash TV. What you know it would be on this game. It would be on this cabinet. I don't... Can they come out with a Smash TV arcade? Have Robotron 2084 on there and call that an 80s release? Because Smash TV is from the 90s. And when they say it's different 80s title, that's why I don't necessarily think it's going to be Robotron, because we're going to get Smash TV and we're going to get Total Carnage, and they're all right next to each other. Like, you're going to get these three games whenever they do make that. And you know, Eugene Jarvis did hint on that interview from the 1UP update. We will see this eventually. I just don't know if this is going to be that 80s title, because Total Carnage, Smash TV are not 80s titles, and it's gotta be the Smash TV skin, right? Or would you have a choice? Like the Mortal Kombat 2 or Gels cabinet? Will you have different options for the skin for Robotron 2084? Just look at it, just reminds you that, like, you know, the NES system on the Nintendo, we're looking at Super Mario Brothers. Like, as much as we want Nintendo, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. So it's got to be one of the 5 arcades from the 80s that, you know, these titles that Arcade1up is planning to give us. Contra. Qbert. The obvious fan choice here, the top selection. Super Mario Brothers 3. Never seen this plane on here before. Spy Hunter, which again is the launch shot. But man, that steering wheel. This thing is so... I want a Spy Hunter cabinet. This thing's great. Track and field, which, I mean, do you agree with me? Is it the most likely 80s title that we could see? Are they really giving us track and field? Would you want this in your arcade? Kind of got that big blue. You know, I didn't like big blue at first when I first saw it, but now I can't part with that cabinet. So no matter how much room I run out of, big blue is not going anywhere. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about this blue? What do you think about track and field? Robotron 2084. Okay, so I suppose there's a chance that they could give us Robotron 2084 and have it a one game. Would it matter? If we got Robotron 2084 and then later on they're like, because what throws me off is you see the Williams and you see the Williams, and when Eugene Jarvis said, you know, I want to see a Robotron Smash TV cabinet, they have to be on there. I'm just trying to play some kind of like wishful thinking here that they could give us Robotron 2084. I think that there's enough fan base out there that would want to have the option to choose from the skin. And I think that when that does happen, just control deck for Smash TV.
when that does happen, I hope that people do have an option. My option would be Smash TV, but I'm not saying I don't dislike Robotron 2084. I just have more nostalgia for Smash TV. Still think there's going to be a waiting game for Robotron 2084. It's fun to play with or against somebody. What if they had online play on here? I'm kind of leaning that it's Track and Field or Cuber. Those are my two. I think it's we're ways off from Robotron, Smash TV, Total Carnage. I think Track and Field's very likely, but I think out of all of these five we just talked about, it's one or the other. And from one Walmart to another, let's check the prices on Arcade1up. Now, something I didn't factor in about Track and Field, the gentleman came up, recognized me, and we just happened to be standing right in front of Track and Field, and I was talking about what the episode was about, and I'm kind of feeling strong that Track and Field is that 80s cabinet, and he said that's fine and everything. It's one of my favorite games, but are they going to make it strong enough? And when he started pounding on those three buttons, it hit me right then and there. Maybe that was the delay. Maybe that reason right there is why Arcade1up pushed it back. Not only that, is pushed it back from originally when we saw that stool. So feeling strong that it is Track and Field at Walmart, my favorite Walmart. We saw the risers earlier. We'll run in here, we'll see if any of those other prices are different. I want to say that I saw something about $199 Yoga Flame. See if there's any in here. Is anything different than the prices we saw earlier in the episode. And the prices are exactly what we saw earlier today, the $299. And it was noted that the peasant version Yoga Flame was $199. I can't confirm or not confirm that because it's not here. We have the Pac-Man, we have the MK30th, another Pac-Man, the NFL Blitz, and that Ms. Pac-Man that I said it's going to be hard to find this one. Last time we were here, I think this was the same amount of cabinets that were here. They are acknowledging the $399 sale. So if you're on the fence, I was just talking that at $5.99 when it came out, you know, close to Christmas, it dropped. You know, people were getting these for $200 basically. This is the cheapest I've seen this since the start of 2023. And if you have not picked up NFL Blitz and you're still not ready to, you know, commit to $399, just hold off, because once we get closer to Black Friday, to Christmas, new releases, this stuff will drop, especially these $299 cabinets. So nothing else new at this Walmart. If anything, the Yoga Flame are the $199 cabinets. Plenty of PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4s at Walmart. It's just crazy that I'm seeing these at Walmart compared to Best Buy. Now they may be at Best Buy, but when I look at their display cases, I'm not seeing it in store. But at this certain Walmart, you know, they have such a wide variety of home consoles and those Arcade1ups. It's just always great coming to this Walmart and seeing Arcade1ups on the shelf. Getting it all in, guys. We're stopping back at Kohl's. I wanted to see if we still had that NBA Jam Countercade, and there it is. Something to check out if you are in the hunt for a Mortal Kombat 2 or an NBA Jam, even the Pawn head-to-head. I think the Ms. Pac-Man Countercade head-to-head might be an option too on Kohl's. Stop in stores, you might find a deal, you might see a sale, or Kohl's Cash. And I can't tell you how exciting it is to see an NBA Jam Countercade on the shelf somewhere, even, you know, Kohl's in general, but just on the shelf, because I don't know if I've ever seen a Countercade in the store before prior to a couple episodes ago, and they do have that sale on the collector cade, $69.99. So this is $125.99 for the Couchcade. The open box at Best Buy, I want to say, was $150. So yeah, these are $179.99. 30% off, $125.99. It's a little steep. My $50, you know, call out a month ago or so might have been too cheap, but $125.99 seems a little high. $69.99, I know that's, you know, people are like, hey Phil, that's high too. I think it would look great on the shelf. I mean, you're not going to play this. I mean, we're all on that agreement, right? But just to have this on display for 70 bucks, let's see the Kohl's cash. Is there any incentive? So spend 50, get $10 of Kohl's cash. So you know how I feel about the Kohl's cash. We've talked about this, but there is an incentive for picking up any Arcade1up at Kohl's. I'm hearing rumblings that there is half price off clearance in the coming days, so we'll be monitoring prices at Kohl's for Arcade1up. Now an associate did come up to me in Kohl's and say, hey, if you're interested, it's really windy out, I apologize for the sound. If you're interested in any of these on clearance prices, Monday, as recording this video, when you see it for the first time, they will be up another half off. The Kohl's cash probably goes away, but if you're in the hunt for a collectorcade or a couchcade, I don't think this applies to the NBA Jam countercade, 50% off, so $69.99. I mean, you're getting that for, you know, $30, $35. The couchcade, about 60. Check it out, stop in at Kohl's. I'm going to, maybe we'll all pick up something for our arcade. Let's go into Best Buy. I'm trying to find the sign and see if there's anything that's changed in store. Hopefully we see more deals. There's so much more coming out, guys. I just expect that something's gonna happen soon besides new releases, but looking for the right sales, the right prices. Where's the sign? And greeted right away. Say hello, Ms. Pac-Man, Class 81, Galaga. And another Class 81 set up by the display units. Your Pac-Man, your Mortal Kombat 2. We'll see if any of the prices, something new at Princess of Power, $21.99. So the He-Man, which I'm always calling out. And, is that She-Ra? Is She-Ra, I mean, no. Catra. So she's probably a baddie, huh? Yeah, looks like she's in cahoots with Skeletor. But we do have the He-Man, the Ultimate Warrior, and get that intense look from Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster. We're up to 101, 101 Dalmatians, $315.99. Terminator 2, still going on at Best Buy. Nothing else has changed. Shack Jam. Actually, Shack Jam's showing up at $5.99 at Target and I believe Amazon. I don't know about Kohl's cash, but still showing up high. Walmart did have the better deal for NFL Blitz, $3.99. Best Buy is still keeping it at $5.99, and nothing new from the Deluxe. Maybe next week we'll see another sale. Mortal Kombat, Pac-Man. Thinking about joining Costco to see that Pac-Man XL. So I'm under the belief that we're only going to see that in stores. Also, other products at Costco, other Arcade1ups at games. It'd be cool to see, kind of mix it to the walk and talks. And I would say the two most sought after, besides He-Man, which is a reasonable price, you know, $29.99, is the Green Ranger Tommy. You know, you have the $55 mark and the red T-Rex sword. That's actually short. Tyrannosaurus Dinosaur. Okay. These are the two most sought after, in my opinion. Who doesn't love the Green Ranger? Out of the action figures at Best Buy. We'll be monitoring. Probably be a while till those $55 price ranges come down, but I just want to keep saying this. I'm a fan of the in-package deal, like just picturing this on your shelf next to, let's just pretend this is a collectorcade for, what, $35? Would you get it? They look good together. I think we're going to join Costco, be a great element for the show, especially the fact that they are carrying that XL Pac-Man. We're going to go over the freeway, get on the bridge here for the outro. It's a lot of activity, a lot of traffic coming on the highway. The sun is beating down on me. The Costco, there's two in my area. This is out close to where the Garcade is, right around the corner from that Best Buy. And there's another one closer to my house. So between the two of them, we should find, if any, some great deals from Arcade1up. It's gonna do it for today. A little less windy over here. See the traffic. We were up here a couple of weeks ago. That's Green Bay, north and south. You're heading towards south, east, west, heading towards Milwaukee. A lot of traffic. There's a camper. Someone on a bike just came by. It's a good bike trail. We were doing the outro further down. It was more quiet, still on this side of the freeway. But I like this. I like the fact that it's right around the corner from Best Buy. The other one is too, but we have that Costco right here. And I think we're gonna spend a good amount of time at this Costco. I think there's gonna be some good stuff. I haven't been to Costco in years, guys, so hopefully I'm not wrong about this. And don't forget about that giveaway on Arcades Anonymous. As a recording of this video, you'll have a couple of days if you're watching it early enough. August 16th, 2023. 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 6 p.m. Pacific. We have so many prizes. I want to thank everybody. It's going to be a longer show, I imagine. There's so much going on to die for. The Arcades Anonymous crew, everyone involved in this, I want to say thank you. I want to thank everybody for watching, for subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time. Arcades Anonymous, huge giveaway, and the 80's cap. What do you think about those 5 titles we went over? You guys think it's track and field? Track and field or Cubert? Yeah, somebody with a bike, on a bike, just rode by. Be sure to catch that giveaway. Arcades Anonymous, Wednesday night. Wednesday night, August 16th, Mr. Fox says be there or be square. Thanks for watching, guys.